In this video, we're going to see if we can go from this to this. So sit back and I'll take you along for the ride. Alright, so what I've got here is my 2012 F150, and you can see the fenders on the bed are rotted, to say the least. The rest of the truck's in really good shape, but it's just these fenders that have been rotted. Combination of Wisconsin winters and using it to back into a lake to launch wave runners have not done it any favors. So I've actually purchased a new bed, so I'm going to swap out the old bed for the new bed. So you've obviously seen what the old one looks like, and I've got the new one sitting over here. It's not a new bed, it's a used bed, but you can see this one is in pretty much pristine condition compared to that one on there. So should be a big upgrade. That's actually just glare right there. That's not actually a scuff. So yeah, I'm going to show you the process of what we got to do. So basically, first thing I'm going to do is I got to get my tonneau cover off of here. Then I'm going to remove my tail lights I have on here. So let me get myself propped up here. I'm going to open up the tonneau cover. I'm going to take some measurements across so I know what my span is. So give me a second. Alright, so basically I'm going to take measurements spanning across here in the front and the back so I know what my width is. That way when I reinstall this on the new bed, I know exactly where to put it so I have the same tension going across. So this tonneau cover is held on by Velcro on either side here once it's rolled out and it's stretched tight. So I need to have it pretty much the exact same as what it is right now in order for that to fit properly. So take a measurement across here. So I'm basically at 60 and an eighth. 60 and an eighth. This should be just about the same, but we'll just double check it. Yep, 60 and an eighth. So basically 60 and an eighth front and back. So remember that because I sure as heck won't. So now I've got to go ahead and unbolt this. So really all that's holding this on here is some clamps here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clamps. Unbolt that and that thing should pop right off. The other thing I have to do here too is I've got some bed lights in here. I'm going to have to, and they run down through the bed over on that end. I'm going to have to go over there and down below and snip the bed light wire in a spot that I can repair it once I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and snip that and then take this off and I will show you once we're done. So stay tuned. Alright, so I moved outside since I'm going to be taking stuff off here, but alright, I got it loosened up, so now I can go ahead and lift that off. Comes off pretty easy actually. It's going to be a little clunky because it's kind of big, but there we go. That was pretty easy. I'm going to set this aside and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is actually remove the tailgate. From what I've seen, this is how you remove any of the newer Ford tailgates, but it's pretty easy. So basically you have to lift up on the tailgate and there's a little tab here. You have the spring tab, you have to spring forward, and then this clip comes right off. Same thing on that side. Then you lift the tailgate up at about a 45-degree angle like this, and on the right side there's a notch in there and it should pop out. So you want to pop the right side off first and then lift it up a little bit more and you should be able to slide out the left side. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod and we'll see if we can make this work. So hold on one second. Alright, here we go. Pardon the road noise while I do this, but I'm doing the best I can. So I also have a small screwdriver here to help me in this process. So, like I said, let's get the tension off the cables. Right here, pry up. That cable's off. Oh, before I get too much into this too, if you have a backup camera, a factory backup camera where you have the camera in the oval here, there is a harness underneath there that you have to unplug so that your cable comes loose. I have, well, it's an OEM, but it's an OEM aftermarket, I guess you could call it. Mine doesn't hook into the mirror or anything in there. Mine runs to an LCD monitor in there. So my setup's a little bit differently, so I went ahead down where a spot where I can get to it and I snipped the wire. Just to give me, just to cut it loose, and then I can repair it once I'm done. Okay, so anyways, cable number 1 is off. Cable number 2 is off. Put our screwdriver away. All right, now tip it up to approximately a 45-degree angle. Grab underneath here, and you should be able to pull out. Okay, side number 1 is out. Now, you might have to wrestle this a little bit for side number 2, because that one just slides in rather than comes out in a knot. So depending on how much road debris and other stuff you have in there, it may be a little bit stuck. So we'll see how easy this comes out for me. But get a good grip in the middle in case this thing wants to fall on you. Oh boy. All right, so we're gonna lay her down a little bit. There we go, got it. Okay, now we just lift it out of the way and we're free. All right, we're gonna set her down here for the minute while I turn off the camera, and then I'm gonna put it someplace safe and I'll bring you back for the next step. All right, tailgate is safely out of the way. Now we need to work on our bed liner and get that out of here. So first thing we need to do is get our hooks off. So you can see there's some bolts on here. Those are T30s. I've gone ahead and hit that with some PB Blaster on this side and crawled under the fender and hit it from the back side. So look a little rusty, so hopefully I don't snap those off, but not a giant deal if I snap them off on here. I just can't snap them off on the new bed. So let's hit those a little bit and see what happens here. Nope, that one snapped off. That's not good. Let me try going in first and then back. Yep, all right, let's go. All right, that one came out. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 3 in the same manner, and I'll bring you back once I'm done. All right, all 4 are off. The back 2 came out pretty easily. Those are actually shielded a little bit better so they didn't get so much weather. And the, let me see here. See the bolts on those look pretty good, not very rusty. I did snap off the left one on the front one on this one too, so both the far front ones snapped off. So I'll use that as a lesson for the next for the new bed, so I'll take it a lot easier on those. I'm gonna go in there and actually hit that with some more PB Blaster now too, just to make sure or actually liquid wrench is what I'm using to make sure that those are lubed up. All right, let me get the hardware out of the way, and then I'll bring you back for the next step. Stay tuned. All right, so now we can remove our bed liner. It should just be held in there by having the edges tucked up underneath that flap there. So now you don't want to just go ahead and like pry down in there because you can mess stuff up. So what I do is I take a chunk of wood and stick it underneath the bed there just to give it a little bit of a bow. And you should be able to then, I'll do it with 2 hands and prop you up on the camera, but you know, pull up in the middle and then pull down on the sides, and we should be able to work that out from both sides. So let me set you up on the tripod and we'll see if we can accomplish that. So stay tuned. All right, let's give this a shot. That side's out. Right there we go, we're free. Now we should be able to grab it and just drag her out. Yep. Let's try to pop back in. Alright. Okay, there we go. That's the first time this thing's seen the light of day since about 2012. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and back her back into the shop, and I'll show you what we have to do next. So stay tuned, please. All right, we're back in the shop. I backed in the shop because this next part I'm going to have to get down underneath the truck to hit a few things, and it's going to be a lot easier in here on the creeper than out there in the cold, wet grass. So basically, right now there's 6 bolts holding the truck bed on. We got 1, 2, there's one back there, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. I'll show you where they're located under the side of the truck here. So Hopefully you can see that, but right there's one. There's one whoop, inside here. And then let me hop under the truck here. And, oh man, tight squeeze. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is one right there under the back here, kind of like between the license plates, spread out. So all those need to come out. I've been hitting those with a healthy dose of PB Blaster or liquid wrench for the last week, because those do get sprayed with salt. So that needs to happen. Hopefully those come out easy. Also, we need to pull off our little cap here for our filler neck. Unbolt these 3 bolts. I believe they're M8. I'll double check before I take those out. Also down here, where the filler neck comes down, there's a hose clamp right here that holds the filler neck to the frame, so you have to loosen that up. Beyond that, let's see. Here, let me get myself back under the truck 1 second. All right, we're under the truck here. Pardon the shaky camera footage here, but we're pretty tight. So there's a vent hose coming off your axle here that actually runs up there. Hopefully you can see that to the frame, so we got to unplug that. And then there's one wiring harness we have to unplug, which is, let's see if I can get some light on it, right up there. So that is to the right side, well, kind of like basically right behind where the hitch plug is, if you can see that. There's that up there. And then, gosh, this is tough. All right. Right here, we have that's your illumination for your license plate. So that has to be unplugged, and then there's one on the other side as well. So all those things need to be done here, and then we can unbolt up top and probably lift the bed off. So let me go ahead and get this stuff done down here. It's going to be too difficult to show you as I'm doing it. But I will show you when I'm taking off the bolts up top of the bed, so stay tuned. All right, I've got everything, I believe, undone except for my 6 bed bolts here. So let's see if we can work on those. This will be interesting since they are a bit rusty on the bottom side, as you can see. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my impact driver here and see if I can shock those threads a little bit before I really start reefing on them with the impact. This is a T50, just so you know. So I bought a bunch of these with anticipation that I'm going to possibly wreck some of these. So let me try to see if I can loosen these up a little bit, at least shock them. So hold it pretty firm. Hold it, make sure you're straight vertical, and give her some good whacks here, and we'll see if it'll budge. Not seeing much moving on that one. Let's try this one. Looked like it budged a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna I'm actually gonna grab a fresh one since I did some damage to that one possibly, and then we'll try the impact. So give me a second here. All right, guys, here goes nothing. Slight movement on that one, not much though. I'm probably gonna have to use my big impact. Let me try this next one up here and see what happens. Same thing with that one, slight movement, but then she's binding. I'm gonna go ahead and try the rest of them off camera and see what happens. I'll bring you back with the results. All right, well, I tried all the rest of them with no luck. I broke out the big boy, and on the back ones, snapped off 2 bits, so that's not good. Let's try these front ones here. I gotta save 1 bit for trying to put this back together, so I got 1 bit in there, 1 bit on the table, so we're gonna try this here, see what happens. Well, 1 came out. This is the one I thought was gonna be the toughest. All right, let's try this one here. Let me move the camera a little bit. We'll try this other front one since its brother came out. Okay, well, 2 out of 6. Still not great, but okay, we'll keep going. Let's try this one here. Okay, well, we got 3. Let's try this one again. Try going forward then backwards, see what happens. Broke too. Shoot. Well, I only have 1 bit left. So I think what I'm going to have to do is try to weld a nut on all those other ones to get those out. Otherwise, well, I mean, I might be able to sneak a Sawzall underneath there and snip it off, and then once I get the bed lifted off, I can clamp on there with something to break them loose. So let me see if I can get a Sawzall under there. Stay tuned 1 second, please. Alright guys, here we are. Well, I couldn't get a Sawzall under there, so I'm going to be forced to weld a nut on there. So I actually found some old lug nuts laying around, so that's why I don't throw that type of thing away. So, you know, you don't always have the right equipment, and you got to work with what you got, and I got some old lug nuts. So I'm going to try using some 6013 rod on my old Lincoln Tombstone arc welder and see if I can weld that nut on there. So I'll show you the welding process here. So give me a second to get myself set up. I'm by no means a professional welder, so don't laugh too hard. All right, here we go. Might have to grind that off a little bit, so give me a second here. I'll hit it with the grinder. Well, my ground was just a little off. All right, let's try that again. Found a better ground, nice clean metal. All right, here we go. All right, we got that tack. Now we'll work our way around and just hit her all the way around. Oh, I got that one a little hot. Better turn her down in here. All right. Let me try hitting the other side. Yep, that was not pretty. All right, let's see what that does for us. All right, we got that one good and welded up. I tried getting this one loose. You can see it turns, but something must have stripped out down below. So we'll have to address that one a little bit differently. Over here, got another nut welded on, so let's give that one a try and see if my weld holds on this one. All right, here we go. Same thing happened on that one. All right, well, let's see if third time's a charm. Ooh, that one's actually coming up. Look at that, I ain't gonna grab that, it's still hot. So let me see what I can do to address the other two, so stay tuned. All right, we're back. So what I wound up doing is I actually took my grinder and I ground off the head of those bolts. That way the bed is now loose, so I can pull it off, and I can take care of that once the bed is off. I gotta do one more thing that I almost forgot, and that is I need to take out my headlights. So I just have 2 bolts here, and then I have to unplug some wiring harnesses, and these will come out, and then I'll be ready to get this bed off. So I will bring you back when I'm about to flip the bed off, so stay tuned. All right, so I back into the shop. I've got a strap around the bed hooked to my overhead winch up here. If you haven't seen how I installed that, I'll put a link to one of my previous videos right here so you can see that process. But anyways, I'm going to use that to lift this up. So in theory, I should be able to lift it up, drive out from underneath it, put this one on the ground, get it out of here, and then we'll lift on the other one. So let's see if this works. Well, it kind of worked. All right, let me get the old bed out of here, and then we'll bring it back and we're going to put the new bed on, so stay tuned. All right, we have the other bed rigged up and lifted up, so in theory I should be able to just drive backwards right underneath it. So let's see if that plays out. Sorry, I had to stop the video. I almost forgot. I had to get those old bolts that I had cut off out of there, and I bought a new bolt set. So I had to get those all set, all 6 of them, in order to be ready. Okay, now we're ready to back her in and get that thing reattached. So I'll set you back up on the tripod, and I'll show you how to do it. All right, here we go. All right, so we got the bed rested down on the truck. I got all my holes lined up and I got my bolts started but loose. And I'm just making sure that all my body lines are lined up, you know, and even, right? So the bed's even with the frame and everything. And then I went underneath, made sure my wiring was all in good shape. So my illumination for my, wow, I can't talk. My illumination for my license plates was hanging down and that wiring harness was hanging down. And then I went over here and I made sure I can get my filler neck where it was supposed to be, so that, and all the holes are lined up. So that all looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my bed bolts. So now this kit I got off of Amazon says it's for the F150 and it seems pretty legit. You know, it's not like the OEM. And we don't have Torx on here. We actually have Allen heads. That's an 8mm Allen on there. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down, get my filler neck reinstalled, plug in my wiring. I won't show you that on camera, and then we'll come back and we'll start getting our headlights put in so that at least get this thing drivable, and then we'll start working on the rest of the stuff. So stay tuned, and I'll bring you back once I got that stuff all installed. All right, I've got my wiring harness connected down below, put my vent tube back on for my axle, got my illumination for my license plates in, and I got my taillights installed. So now let's fire the truck up and make sure that everything back here works. So you can be my eyes back here, and we'll review the footage afterwards. So let's see what we got. So we'll try the headlights, we'll try the directionals, we'll try the brake lights, and we'll see what's up. All right, let's check the brake lights. Brake light. Now we'll check reverse. Time to review the footage. Let's see what you guys saw. All right, we pulled back out in the driveway now. I went ahead and I removed my bed hooks all the way around, and we're going to reinstall that tonneau cover, or not tonneau cover, the bed liner. So I'm going to use the same method I used to get it out. So I've got a chunk of wood in the middle to help bow it, and I'm going to drag her over, and you'll see me install it. So just stay tuned, and I'll put you up on the tripod, and you can see that process. All right, here we go. That side's in. All right, that's all there is to it. Now we'll go ahead and put our hooks back on, and we'll get that tailgate back on. So stay tuned, and I'll bring you back once I get the hooks back on. All right, our bed hooks are on, so our bed liner is secure. Now let's get this tailgate back on. So remember, we want to put the left side on first, then the right side. There's a notch here. We want to get that lined up with the notch on the tailgate. So let's go ahead and try that. It does help if you have a buddy with you, but I'm alone today, so I'm my own helper. Okay. Of course, this isn't going to go easily, is it? Alright, we're getting her there. We're almost in. We'll take care of that later. There we go. And we just popped in over here too, so that's good. Now let's get our cables back on. Get it right on. Cable 2 on. It's good. Snaps in place and everything looks like it lines up good, so that's good. Let's go ahead and get our wire fished back through. Okay, there we go, tailgate installed. So we now have a drivable vehicle actually. I know we still have some things to do, but that's going to be it for today. I'll pick you up in the morning where we'll go ahead and we'll get our tonneau cover back on and then get our wiring back hooked back up. So I'll pick you up in the morning. Till then, see you later. All right, we're back the next morning. Got us back inside the shop here because it's pretty cold outside this morning, so a little bit of snow flurries, things like that, so we got the nice heated shop here to help keep us warm. All right, so first order of business, let's get this tonneau cover back installed. So I've got it set in there where it's supposed to be. Now we got to get everything aligned. So looking at my old pictures and videos, so basically right here, the end of the cut bar on the tonneau cover needs to be flush with this end surface here, so we're sticking out a hair here, so I got to move that back slightly, and then this top lip here, or this the top of the bar here needs to be about 1/8 inch above the edge of the bed here. So I got to slide that up and I can clamp that in place. Do the same thing on the other side, and then we will test the tailgate to see that everything looks good, and then we'll work on the rest. So let me get that mocked up and I'll bring you back. Stay tuned. All right, I think I got everything in place here. So what I wound up doing is starting from the back and clamping and then setting it as I went along this way, because I found that starting from the front, it wasn't easy to get the whole thing set at that proper height. So this bar might have a little bit of bend in it or something. I might have bent it yesterday when I took it off, but I think we're in good shape. Took my measurement across the back there. I'm exactly at 60. Up here, I'm about 16 1/8. So let me roll this bad boy out and see how everything fits. So I'll set you up on the tripod so you can see how that works. So stay tuned. All right, so this is how this particular type of tonneau cover works. This is an Access tonneau cover, Access name brand. I've had it on the truck since I've owned the truck, so it's been a good cover so far. So basically it just rolls out like this. The end snaps in here and it locks, so that locks in place. And what you have to do is take the Velcro. I would normally start in the middle, stretch over, go to the end here, stretch over, and then go to this end, stretch over, push the Velcro down along the side, and I'll do the same thing on the other side and see how we line up. Everything seems to look pretty good. Close it up. Yep, I always did have a slight gap there. So here, yeah. There always was a slight little gap here. And then you can see here the Velcro is basically right where it was before. So I think tonneau cover's in good shape. So now I'm going to open it back up. I'm going to feed my wires down through and we're going to get our wiring back together. So let me get that fed through and then I'll bring you back. Alright guys, here we go. I'm under the truck here, and these are what I'm going to use to patch those wires together. I've showed these in other videos before, but I don't even know what they're actually called, but they're really neat. I bought this whole kit for about 20 bucks. Saw it on Facebook, I believe, when it was first advertised, and thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try, see what happens, and these have been awesome. So it comes, you know, they come in all different assortments of different varying sizes, but basically you want to try to find the size that works for the diameter wire you're using. You strip both ends of the wire, leaving about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch bared, and then you slide it in so the ends overlap past the center part in the middle here, and that's a low temperature solder. So once you get both ends in there, you hit this thing with a heat gun, and you can see in this one the blue part will shrink. That acts as shrink wrap. It shrinks around the wire, and then that low temp solder will melt, and it'll melt the copper strands together in there, and they work really good. They're waterproof. I've used a whole bunch of these, and I haven't had any failures yet unless it was from something that I did. So I'll show you how I got this rigged up here. Slide under the truck. All right, so where are we at here? There we are. All right, so I've already got these two done. So basically, yeah, you strip about, like I said, come on, focus, 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch of wire. I've used this one. For these wires, you want to try to get the wire. Pick the one that's got the diameter closest to the wire, so this fits nice and snugly over this wire. Slide them on, and then use your heat gun to melt it. Once you see that solder melting, you're good. Stop, let it cool off, and then give it a tug and make sure that they don't come apart, and they don't come apart. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other two, and then I'll bring you back once I'm done, and we'll test out the lights. All right, I got all 4 of them soldered together. I went ahead and I gave them all a tug. They all seem pretty solid, so now let's get up and check and see if my lights work. Okay. Switch on. We got lights there. We got lights there. Yeah, that one right there is burned out, but it was burned out before I started. So yeah, looking good. All right, now I believe last thing I have to do is get my wiring put back together for my backup camera. So let me crawl under there and we'll get that one done. All right, here's the backup camera wires. I got those all spliced together. These were a lot smaller than the light wires, but I got them spliced together. Used the smallest of those connectors that we had. Seems to work good, so let's go ahead and hop up in the truck and see if we get something on the backup camera. So stay tuned. All right, here we go. Let's fire up the truck. So I mentioned I had an aftermarket camera, so I have it wired up to this LCD display here. Gonna power it on. Okay, now it's gonna be blue until I put it in reverse. Let's see what happens. Hey, look at that. We got our backup camera back. All right, let me hop back out. All right, we're back in the back of the truck. Really, the only thing I have left to do here is I'm going to take this, wrap it up in electrical tape. I'm going to get everything and tuck it back inside of our protector here and electrical tape that together, get it nice and protected. Then I'll go up here and zip tie it to get it out of the way. So that'll about do it for this video. As always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll keep this sort of thing going. Hopefully this helps somebody out if you have to remove the bed on an F-150, or if you have to take a tonneau cover on and off. So until the next one, take care. We'll see ya.